Welcome to your channel, Kwelichungu TV, YouTube, TikTok, Brother Power 046, Brother Power, your home of entertainment, education, and information, where we inform you what you're supposed to know. Dear viewers, as usual, I'm your presenter, the one and only Brother Power, on the one and twos, none other than Password. Welcome, and let's go to part 2 of my story. That is, I was not born blind, part 2 of my story. Dear viewers, where we stopped last time, we talked about how my clinical card got lost, and my late mother, Crescentia, had to go an extra mile of borrowing a clinical card of a neighbor's baby with whom we were age mates. So we are age mates because the guy is still alive and a serious carpenter in all the towns in Nyamira County, as I informed you last time. And this boy was called Jared Nyaribo, and that's how my name changed all of a sudden from Leonard Mambo to Jared Nyaribo. This was no business because after all this boy grew up in good health, grew up into serious stature, and grew up in everything seemingly an upright boy without any problems, be it health, be it any related problems. When I attained the age of between 6 and 7 years, according to my mother, Crescentia, she says one morning, after having breakfast with my uncle and my other siblings, that's my elder brother and my immediate follower sister, then something came. I began with vomiting and diarrhea, which seemed like kind of food poisoning or something, that maybe the stomach was reacting to something that was not good to eat. But this continued after some time. It now developed to swellings all over the body. This was through the day. The only person who was around was my uncle, and it's important at this juncture to inform you that my father was a lumberman as well as a hunter. And by this time, we were living somewhere in the Rift Valley in a place called Equator or Momberes, something thereabout, where my father pitched tent and together with his fellow lumbermen, some of whom were relatives, decided to use as home. I don't know how it happened because I remember we even had shambas of maize and beans, and we'd go chasing monkeys and what have you. Dear viewers, this sickness continued not to cease for 4 straight days. The only person available was my uncle. Of course, my father came like a day or two later after I had fallen sick. He got me in serious condition, diarrhea and vomiting, and of course swellings all over the body. At some point, they would conclude and say it would be the childhood disease, but then the strange part of it was the diarrhea and the vomiting. But then somehow they attributed it to some, teething. But then teething would still not carry the day because I was at the age of 6 and 7 years. By this time, I'm supposed to be dropping my milk teeth to now begin acquiring the permanent teeth. Anyway, this continued for 4 straight days. And on the 50th day, my mother says the swellings disappeared and the vomit subsided plus the diarrhea. But then I remained with protruding eyes, like the swellings remained around the eyes and the eyes were outside, like outside. But then there was no sight. The first person to realize that I was not seeing anymore was my late mother. She's the one who discovered that I could not see, I could no longer see. Then she communicated this to my father, and it was so difficult, as she tells me, to communicate it to other relatives. From there, plans and programs began to resuscitate or to restore my sight. I must inform you here, dear viewers, that I grew up and was brought up in a very superstitious family, superstitious community, where people believed in witchcraft and many other things. So, due to this problem, my mother at one moment had to travel home up country and leave my father the other side. Of course, we came with my siblings, my brother and my elder sister, my younger sister. By this time, my two elder sisters were somewhere. So as we came home, the sight problem intensified and I was totally blind, of course with protruding eyes, sometimes with in serious pain, lying in hospitals. This led to my mother getting advice from my grandparents who advised her to go even see some magician, maybe thinking that it was witchcraft or something. And true to their word, when they visited a magician or two, they told them there was they knew the problem, and now it was about the solution. What was the problem? Listen, utashtuka. They said my father, being a hunter, one morning woke up with his friends to run after either a hyena or an antelope, I can't remember. And as they ran with the company of their many dogs, we had very many dogs. In fact, one of our dogs was called Dina. So as they went into the forest, the animal they were chasing got disappeared. And my father rushed ahead and got a log that he stepped on. Unfortunately, this was not a log, it was a python. As you know, dear viewers, that when a python has swallowed something like a frog or something, it doesn't leave the spot until after 3 or 4 days when digestion has completely taken place. So my father thought this was a log and he stepped on it, and the python overthrew him and he fell away. Then he ran away. Narrating the story to his friends, they instructed him and told him he had missed because this was a dangerous animal to see, and if he had seen it, then he would have killed it and taken some part for protection. My father then rushed back, but then, to his shock, the animal had been killed, and those who knew what to do had already run away with whatever they could, and leaving behind only the eyes that were gorged and now left exposed outside. According to the magician, this is why my eyes remained protruded outside until a later time when I'll tell you what happened. So this continued. They were told to do many things. Chicken was slaughtered. A lot of things were done, and this is how I became totally blind. I'd like to stop here, dear viewers. Please like, share for part 3 of my story. I've been your presenter, the one and only Brother Power, on the 1 and 2s for the sake of sound quality and quality pictures is none other than password. Bye bye.